Alright, folks, it's been a long time since we did this, but we're back with some picks for Dundalk, and we're going to run through the card. We've also got some quotes from James McAuley, who was kind enough to give us some answers, I suppose. Um, Starting off with the 355, Dean, what are you fancying?
The 355. It's a good race that actually. Um, Dandy Spirit have backed or topped up last twice. Um, Red Symbols has to have a chance. James's horse on that. Sharif has to have a chance. I would say it's between the three, but of the three, um, uh, you would say Dandy Spirit again, probably.
Yeah, I probably have to agree with you on that. You tipped it last time out. I'd say he'll win again. Adam Farrer's obviously claiming £7 off him. Moose Sharif, on the other hand, is quite interesting, 10-1. It's his first race in Ireland. He's a 9-year-old. He's in stall 11. He's rated £10 shorter than Dandy Spirit and has £3 claimer Darragh O'Connor on. Um, or Donald O'Connor on, sorry. Macaulay has given us a wee quote about him. He said, "We haven't done a whole pile with him since he came up. He appears to be fitting well. Donna is a brilliant jockey to have in these races, so I'd be hopeful of a good run. He may be better over 6 furlongs, but this will get him settled and we can make a plan from there." So
Yeah,
Macaulay's
like
obviously great.
yeah, it sounds like they're maybe hopeful of running into some prize money anyway, and then obviously being able to make a plan from there, whether he is good enough for the 5 round Dundalk or if he needs to be up to 6 or maybe 7, depending on what they think.
Moving on to the Claymore race. This is quite a good race, actually. What are you thinking? I think you're going Angie, are you?
Like, Raphael's obviously the horse to beat. He's been running in Premier handicaps and things like that. But the fact that he's bled would be a concern. Um, like Togoval's record around Dundalk, next to none. Like, he's fantastic record. If I was, I, I would imagine the top two is going to be the top two home, the first two home, and it's just a matter of picking places from there, I would say. But Angel, given its form of the fifth, I know it was maybe 7.5 lengths or just under 7.5 lengths behind the winner, but that was in a really good maiden. Like, in dropping into claiming company here, if he brought that form over, sure, geez, like it'd be unreal.
Yeah, no, Dean, I agree with you on Raphael. He looks the one to beat. He's obviously been gambled in overnight as well. He's 4-5 now. Um, he's going to be very, very, very tough to beat. And John from Kingdom Racing Syndicate last night on the podcast was very keen on him as well. So elsewhere, for Macaulay makes second run. Um, Now he was fairly useful in England. He did win over there from 3 starts, but his debut in Dundalk was very, very underwhelming. Colin Keane does ride him, so that's quite interesting. And I asked Macaulay about Colin Keane, and he had this to say. He said Colin has been very lucky for us. He hasn't ridden for us very often, but has won a few already. He needs an introduction to he needs no introduction to racing fans, and if he is available and willing to ride our horses, he would, or we would be foolish not to snap him up. Joey Sheridan rides all airs normally, but unfortunately he is suspended until mid-February, apart from the 2 additional fixtures scheduled for Dundalk in January. So by the signs of that, Macaulay's going to be getting Colin Keane quite a bit, I'd say.
Yeah, especially if Thingley has no runners, like Dear Lions has no runners,
Yeah.
you know.
And he hasn't been really unleashing any over the winter anyway.
Yeah, and Collins probably been kind of quiet there for a
Mm.
while as well. Like, after his title won last year, kind of went
Yeah.
quiet over the Christmas period. I know
Right
most
after
of
the
them.
Breeders' Cup, really, we haven't seen
Yeah,
much of him.
but
Um,
and saying that is probably a well-deserved break as well, so as he can
oh, yeah,
enjoy
definitely.
himself over the festive period, or maybe he's working at or at home in Jerish, like.
It's fair to say he's deserved a break anyway.
For sure, for sure.
I suppose we move on to 5 o'clock, Dean. Farnese, for me, Colin Keane again rides. He won well last time out, beating Caesar's Common, who James was fairly confident with that night. With Keane on board, he definitely has a chance. It doesn't help he's drawn in stall 13, obviously. But, Joey was also very bullish about Farnese on the podcast last week. He was hoping that James might pull him out and ride him on Monday so he could get the ride. Then James said Farnese looks to have an obvious chance. I wasn't sure he would be fit enough to win the last day. He always has shown plenty, but had issues, which we have hopefully ironed out. So hopefully none of them issues occur tonight and all goes well. And he's a decent price at 8-1.
Yeah, big value in that 8-1 there, considering he's a last time out winner. But whenever you look at it there, Murahan, the favourite for Gavin Cromwell, they have Sammy Ewan on now. That horse has been consistently unlucky. It's had, I think it's had a higher, or a relatively new claimant jockey on it a couple of runs, and then it had a professional jockey, or one of the senior jockeys, if that's probably a better way to pronounce it. He would be interesting. Could be Goods won the last 2. Just brilliant. Yeah, it's probably the best race of the night there, to be honest, because there's 4 live chances, but I wouldn't be worried about the drawaway for Nays. So it's over a mile, it's plenty of room, sit and come from the back like it did the last time, come through horses, and Colin Keane has ridden for Gavin Cromwell, I think, before. He's ridden quite a few winners for John McConnell. So, yeah, he could have probably had the pick of whatever he wanted in that race, and to see him up in Farnese, then, yeah, would fill you with a bit of confidence.
And James has another one in that race, Maestro Stick. Shane Foley's on this one, so that's another good jockey booking. Now, he's quite interesting. He's the son of Frankel, and what James has said about him is fairly interesting. It sounds silly looking at his form, but if Maestro Stick put it all together, he would prove very hard to beat in that race. So,
yeah, I think that's because of he worked him the other day, as he says about the video on social media.
He put blinkers on him that day, and he said that they're going to be putting blinkers on him tonight, and hopefully that will keep him straight and go.
Yeah, that's it's strange, but sometimes horses actually, as he says there, sometimes horses work better on their homework rather than bringing it to the track, which is very strange. But yeah,
it's not too often you see a son of Frankel run at Dundalk, especially at that much.
Yeah, and it's not actually too often that you've seen any of Frankel's progeny with a bad strike record. So I think the horse in time, once he gets himself or gets his act together, he could prove very, very good for the lads.
He has only ran 3 times, so he still has a long way to go, I'd say.
Yeah,
and he will take 1 or
2. Still learning the traits of the job.
I have a lot. No, you're back.
Am I? Yeah. I was wondering there because the other iPad crashed on me there and I can't get it to work again, so I'm just using my own iPad here now.
No, you're back now. We'll move on to 5:30. This is another very good race. Tony the Gent, Irish Acclaim, for me are, the ones I'm watching anyway. James said Tony benefited from the Vitaflor, so he should have his chance here tonight. And he's good price too tonight, isn't he? He's 6-1?
I think he's 8-1 there. I see in most places. I think he's actually really overpriced.
Mm.
Has run at Dundalk the last time. I know the form before that run wasn't really there, but he ran behind that really good one at Sarah Lynham's. Jalal or something. Began with J. I'm not 100% sure of the name now, but he ran Hamdi within 3/4 of a length. He was bidding for a hat trick.
Yeah.
I think that form is pretty solid. Like, and again, Colin Keane's on board. You know,
Yeah.
it points everything in the right direction. That maybe they're definitely fancying their chances here.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I suppose moving on to 6 o'clock, your nap of the day, I suppose, is there.
Yeah, like I think this one is fairly decent. I said it the last time. I think it was on here before Christmas that this horse will be picking up, or it was in the podcast actually for the Irish Racing Hour, that this horse is going to be picking up prize money around Dundalk
Mm.
without a shadow of a doubt. Fairybank for Ted Walsh. Like, he's been consistent enough. Like, all that's missing from his form numbers at the minute is a 1, because 4 runs back he was 5th, then 4th, then 3rd, last time out 2nd. So a 1 this time would round it off perfectly for them, I think.
Yeah, nice way to look at it, and it's 5-4-3-2-1.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think he's been bang unlucky. Like, draw 13 would be a concern, but like,
Mm.
has experience compared to the inexperience of some of them at the head of the market could just prove a wee bit too much for him. He's in there 2-1 actually. It's still decent value. He was 5-2 last night, so yeah.
One that I'm looking at in that race is the Aidan McGuinness trained Farah. It's owned by
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix Thoroughbreds. Gavin Ryan's riding it. He made his debut in Limerick in a maiden down there. He came fifth in that. Amber Kite came second in that, and I think Amber Kite has gone on and won twice since. Um, so that was a fairly hot maiden, in fairness. So he's coming out of stall too, which gives him every chance at 8-1. So I at least go each way on that. Like,
Yeah, definitely. And like the Joseph horse there is uh, drawn in stall 1 as well, and he's at the head of the market. So if them two put it together, there could be strong early pace.
yeah,
I think that might suit Fairybank.
with a bit of luck anyway, it'd be nice to do.
I think it might suit him.
Um, I suppose we move on to the 6:30.
The 6:30.
What is what's your fancy here?
It's just loading up here now. Here we go. Right, this is probably the second best race on the card. If you're looking on, like, you have Scholastic and Make a Switch, favorite and second favorite, both out of the handicap, but with their claiming jockeys actually brings the mandate
Yeah.
off featherweight. Make the Switch the favorite definitely brings it because she's riding just under 7 stone. Or just under 8 stone, sorry. Just under 8 stone. Casa Camigo for Leanne Breen looked like it was running well most of the way the last time. Possibly might have just needed the run. Got Trump for Jessica Harrington, the massive price, 12-1. Would have to have a chance. But I think me and you are probably going to agree on this one, and people's probably going to say, oh, geez, they're doing nothing but top up hull top horses. But if you look at Swift Wings run, like, he seemed to stay really well when he won, and even the time before that. I know, well, not the time before that. Sorry, he was 3rd on his first run in Dundalk, and he just seemed to stay really well. And I think the step up, he definitely didn't suit the step down the last time. So the step up in trip could prove decent for him.
Yeah, and James has said the exact same. He said Swiftwing could run really well if he sees out the 2 mile, which is something that I think he will do. So Swiftwing is a massive price, like, and James McAuley coming out and saying that he'll run really well over 2 miles. You'd want to be getting on that. Like,
Yeah, it's, as you say, like he says that if he sees out the 2 miles, he could run a very big race or very well, which definitely could happen. And like, if you take the 2 that's out of the handicap out of it,
yeah,
that's quite a wide open race, like, you know. And he's got a nice weight there, 8 stone 12. Yeah, no, he could run a big race. He could definitely run a big race. And he's got good jockey, Shane Foley.
Yeah,
You
excellent
know,
job.
I'm not sure of what Shane Foley's minimum weight is like, but for one of the top lads to be riding off 8 stone 12 is, it's a good. It's a low weight for some of them senior jockeys, shall we say?
And moving on to the 7 o'clock, you mentioned Leanne Breen there for the 6:30.
Yeah.
I'm fancying Leanne Breen's in the 7 o'clock. Latchet, fifth
Mm-hmm.
last time, up to 1 mile too far long, which will absolutely suit. Kevin Manning's also on board. Latchet won this time last year, I think it was, just a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Don't think it's won since. 17-2 looks crazy, and Latchet seems to be really improving lately. So hopefully we'll continue to improve and be up there at the end.
Yeah, when I was looking through it, I actually thought that our Latchet could prove very hard to beat. And given the fact that Kevin Manning rides, now Latchet used to be on by Jim Bulger, so Kevin would know the horse pretty well from his time there. She's in 9 stone 5, as you say. And
is Latchet, I think Latchet's like 10 pounds shorter than what she won at last time.
I'm not 100% sure on that, actually. I haven't.
I think now. I could be very wrong, but
seen that. But the one I would say that could prove the biggest danger is Chris Hayes and Chateau Massar. It was third last time out, and it won the time before. But the time it was third last time out there, he was serious unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, serious unlucky. He came through a pile of trouble. Always looked like he was just going to get beat because of everything that he came through. I think he's got a massive chance.
And yeah, I probably agree with you on that.
Yeah.
He does have a big chance. I suppose we will move on to the final race of the day and wrap things up. This is where my nap of the day is. Starlight Red. I cannot for the life of me see this get beat. Colin Keane on board. Second last time out, and I was shocked that I did not win. I was full sure I was winning past that line. The photo took forever as well to settle, I'm pretty sure. I cannot see this getting beat. It's not a great race at all, and Starlight Red should be romping home now.
Yeah. As you say, I think it's going to prove very hard to beat. And again, we're talking about the man on board, Colin Keane. I think he could be in for a good night. Starlight Red definitely has a massive chance. And if in as good a form as he was the day he was second, then I think he might actually be a couple of lengths clear this time, and there'll be no need for a photo finish. His main rival is probably going to be Roman or Pat Flynn. His horses seem to be doing very well over these distances at Dundalk lately and around December time there. He had a few winners and that. Starlight Red, I think he's in there 2-1, is it, or 5-2, something like that?
I think it's 5-2,
yeah. Yeah, 5-2-ish. That's pretty good value there. I think he'll take a good bit of beating in it.
Yeah, 100%. And Dean, top it off, what's your nap of the day and your next best? And maybe an each way one as well.
Right. Nap of the day would be Fairy Bank, obviously, because I think that's a good thing, and I think that's going to win. Next best, Tony the Gent, 8-1. I think he'll be thereabouts, bang there, maybe at the end. And each way, I haven't actually looked at a good each way one, but um, I'd take Swift wing each way. He's, I think, at looking at it and by James's comments, I think he'll definitely appreciate the step up to 2 miles, or he'll improve for the step up to trip. If he sees out the 2 miles, so be it. I think he could have a good shot. I think he's 14-1, so each way in him.
Yeah, we're agreeing on our each it's anyway. My novel today would be Starlight Red at 5-2. Just cannot see it getting beat. And if I had to pick a next best of the day, based off James's comments, Joey's comments, the win last time out, Colin Keane on board, I would go Farnese at 8-1.
Yeah.
Everything's pointing towards that. They're all confident. Look, it's worth it, I suppose. But Napoli Day will be Starlight Red.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with any of them. All very good valid points and all horses that have a massive chance. And if people that's listening, look at Colin Keane for tonight and throw him in a couple of small money multiples and things, maybe, because it could prove very fruitful at the end of the day. He could be the man that has maybe double or treble this evening.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I'd say he could be on 2 or 3 anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
It could be a very good night for Joe or for Colin, and a very good night for Hilltop. So
hopefully, fingers crossed.
Hopefully, Adam McGuinness gets 1 or 2 as well for me.
Yeah,
no,
he could prove hard to beat in that claim. All right, yeah.
Yeah. That wraps things up for us here anyway. It's good to be back, I suppose. We haven't done this in so long, we're a bit rusty.
But sure, we've got another lockdown day. Make sure we can bring a couple of these videos, I suppose.
Plenty of content coming out.
Yeah, 100%.